What's going on, guys? Jason here. So in this video we are going to talk about Schlage residential hardware. Now, as a homeowner, you have decided to purchase new Schlage locks for your house. When you go to the store or when you get online, you might notice kind of two different styles of Schlage hardware, and you have the choice between regular Schlage, which is the F series knob, and the B60 series deadbolt, or a considerably less expensive builder's quality Schlage. They both take Schlage keys, so you might be thinking, well, I'm just going to save money by purchasing this one. There are other options out there. They're going to be more expensive, so we're not really going to talk about them in this video, but we're going to focus on the two most readily available styles of Schlage hardware that you have the choice to purchase when you have decided to buy new Schlage hardware. And we're going to talk about the differences in the quality, the function, the finish, even the packaging. So let's get started with the differences in the standard Schlage hardware and the builder's quality Schlage hardware, so that you as a homeowner can make an informed decision on what to purchase for your house. Here we have laid out the two most commonly available styles of Schlage locks. We have the F series knob and the B60 series deadbolt. And then we have the builder's quality, the J series knob, and the JD series deadbolt. We're going to take a look at everything about the differences in the two sets so that you can make your informed decision on which one to purchase. I've unwrapped all the items that came in each one of the boxes, and you can see they each come with strike plates and screws and mounting screws. Now, the original Schlage, this particular one did have the drive-in conversion to convert the latch from the faceplate style. You take a screwdriver and pop it off right here, remove these plates, and this hole on each side of the latch, this kind of snaps into that hole to make it, in case you have an application where you don't have the mortise cut out for the latch. When I unwrapped these were factory sealed, straight out of, a brand new case of locks. And I unwrapped them. They did not have these with it. However, I took apart an older box, and you can see with the J series deadbolts, JD, same deadbolt. However, they have recently changed to this all white packaging. I'm going to presume that eventually the knobs are going to come that way too. This box, for some reason, did not have the conversion kits, but when I opened other boxes, I found them in there. So they are supposed to come with the drive-in conversion plates. The deadbolt also comes with the strike plate, which is commonly seen now. A lot of people don't realize that this Deadbolt Strike is kind of a common strike now. It looks just like the knob strike. However, the knob strike has this lip, which provides a good surface for this to ride on. That lip, a lot of people are under the assumption that you can bend that out to make it fit better, but that is not what that lip's for. That lip is just to provide a smooth surface so this lasts longer as it's grabbing in there. And the Deadbolt Strike does not have that lip, and this is very common with almost all locks now. At some point they felt like, I guess, you needed to have two lips coming off the door instead of just the one. However, if you have the older style cutouts in your door, they come with this little bit smaller strike, which is actually the same height as that. So if your frame is cut out for this type of strike, you would use this. If it's not, you would use this. And it also comes with a square corner faceplate. That is to just switch it out. If you have square corners in your cutout on your door, you would pop this plate off and put this on instead. Now again, I'm not sure why these did not come with these parts, but they should. So we're going to go ahead and take them out of the picture because they did not come with them. And also the color choices, you have a lot more color choices with the original Schlage. Aside from the 716 finish, you've got everything from bright brass to antique brass to satin nickel to dark pewter to the matte black, all sorts of different finishes. When you break it down to the builder's quality, you are very limited. You have bright brass, you have satin nickel, and then you have this dark bronze. Now, it is also, there are a limit to the knob shapes. There is a lever version of the builder's quality, and there are only, I think, 2 knob shapes to choose from. With the original Schlage, this is the Georgian with the extra ring. You have Georgian Plymouth, and over you have a whole bunch of different styles to choose from. There are way many more choices in the original Schlage line. However, most places are only going to stock like the Georgian or the Plymouth or maybe 1 or 2 others. But as far as being able to access different styles of knobs and levers, you have many more choices with the original Schlage over the builder's quality. Now, one of the first things that you might notice out here is all the screws that come with these. There are no long screws. One of the most important things with deadbolts for security of your house is to use longer screws. If we look at the boxing, this comes with a 10092 strike, which is the same strike as what we just talked about. However, it is thinner metal, so that is one thing. It's thinner metal than the builder's quality. However, there is another choice, and that is the 16 strike. That strike is the one we prefer. It comes with this heavy metal backer plate as well as heavy 3-inch screws. Many are familiar with this Schlage style of screw. This is much better, much more resistant to forced entry, because if installed correctly, these long screws should bite into the wood behind the jamb of your door. Then this is held on with just short screws. So this strike is considerably better than anything out here on the table. You can order this separately, and this would be the bare minimum that we would recommend. I try not to use these at all. Even if I use these, I will just use 3-inch screws, not like these, because these will not work. They sit too high up. You have to get a number 8 screw. But at a minimum, I would recommend using a high security strike like this. The next thing is the finish. If we look, and reflections are difficult, lighting is weird, but if we just look at the 2 knobs from different angles here, we can see the builder's quality is shiny compared to this knob. And this is more of a matte finish. You can, if we get real close up, we can see it's kind of a matte. If you compare it to like a photograph, one's matte and then the other is standard glossy. That would kind of be like the glossy photo. A lot of people like the matte coloring. I personally do. And if we hold it up next to the builder's quality, we can see the difference there. This is smooth, kind of slippery. This definitely has a matte feel to it. Along with the deadbolts, again, kind of a matte finish versus kind of a shinier finish. One of the most important things is how it functions. So when you have the key out on the F series knob and unlocked on the outside, unlocked on the inside, you turn the knob and it locks the outside handle. When you turn the inside knob, say you're walking out the door and it's locked, when you grab the knob and turn it, it allows you to open the door and walk out. And it also turns the inner knob to the unlocked position, which keeps you from locking yourself out. For a long time, Schlage knobs, when you turned it, they stayed locked on the outside, caused a lot of lockouts. However, a few years back, they adapted this so that you can get out without doing anything and you will not be locked out. So if you had the door locked and you walked out, you would have to turn the knob or turn the key to lock it when you closed it. If we compare that to the builder's quality knob, take the key out there, and we have the knob up and it's locked on the inside, locked on the outside. You do have to turn the knob to open the door. So that's one thing. It is not single motion egress. That means you cannot just walk up and walk out the door. So that kind of violates some fire code or accessibility codes. However, that does not really take effect in personal homes. It is something to consider because every time you want to walk out the door, you have to unlock it. Now, some people like this style compared to that style because, number one, when you walk up to the door, you can instantly tell it's locked by jiggling the inside. However, it does require you to do two motions. You have to turn the knob and then you have to open the door. So that is the difference in the knobs, the main difference in the knobs. The main difference in the deadbolts, there's quite a few differences in the deadbolts, and we will look at that. Of course, I've got a double cylinder deadbolt here versus a single cylinder. There is no difference in the double cylinder and the single cylinder latch. And one of the main selling points of this when they introduced this about 10 years ago was the larger bolt. And we can definitely see it is a much larger bolt. Now, looking at it, you might see this center pin. That is what's called a roll pin or an anti-roll pin or an anti-saw pin. That is to restrict somebody's ability to go in with a saw and cut it. It is supposed to spin when you hit it. That very rarely happens. With this bolt being bigger diameter, all bolts are 1 inch. There's nothing longer than 1 inch, but it is a bigger diameter bolt. So presumably once they did that, they felt they didn't need this anti-cut pin because this is a little bit stronger. The screws with the B60 series deadbolt versus the builder's quality deadbolt are considerably heavier duty, thicker diameter. And that is important because these can bend. These are not really ever going to bend. The screws that come with the single cylinder are just as beefy as the double cylinder. And we can see, again, much bigger diameter along with the finished head. The 60 series deadbolt does come with this removable shroud. Now this shroud is designed to protect the latch from attack from the outside, commonly called ice pick attacks. However, if you have a smaller hole in your door, a lot of locks back in the day were installed with an 1.5 inch hole, or even if your door hole was installed later on and it's off just a bit, some locks can give you a problem with installation. However, you can just remove that screw and then turn this around and remove it. This will fit in the old style holes and you do not have to do any modification to the door to get it to work. Also with these, the cylinder itself is removable, so if you wanted the quality of the lock but you had a different cylinder, for example, you could drop a different keyway cylinder in here and use the bar here, switch it out with whatever you're using. You can see this is a 5-pin cylinder. However, if you had a 6-pin cylinder, you could still use it. You may have to shorten the piece right here to make it work, and this will stick out a little bit further, but that does not affect anything with the lock. With the builder's quality, it is a fixed ring. There's no way to remove that. So if you have a off-center lock or a smaller hole, a lot of people would see this on doors, it would sit on the door out like that. Of course, that is incorrect. However, short of re-drilling the door, which is not really a DIY task for the most part, that can cause a problem if you have smaller mounting holes. And we can look at the deadbolt itself and see that it is held in with the clip and there's no way to remove the cylinder at all. This is completely non-changeable to a different keyway. One other thing, a little bit of attention to detail, is the cylinder is blacked out. It will match the finish. and this one is not. It is just brass. That is to reduce production, I'm sure, with the builder's quality, but that may irritate some folks as well. Another thing is the bar that comes through the latch. Now, if we grab a single cylinder deadbolt to match it up, single to single, we can see that the original Schlage bar is thicker and a little bit beefier than this one, as well as how it interacts differently with the latch. If we hold these two up, we can see it is thicker and a little bit beefier. That matters because in a lot of situations, when you are turning the key or turning the thumb turn, if your lock doesn't line up, some people have to, turn real hard or turn the key real hard. That can cause this to twist far more easily than this would because it is thicker. Also, it kind of interacts with the latch differently. Let's see how that works. Now if we put this one in, it has this little diagram saying have it out flat before you put it in, but we can see there is a little bit, I guess, further travel in it and way more likelihood that that could bend. So lastly, the price point difference. Now, I'm not going to specify any pricing because you can find these for all different types of pricing brackets. However, I will note that these are considerably more expensive than the builder's quality is. However, showing you the differences in what you get, it's basically one of those situations where you get what you pay for. If you, don't care at all, then by all means go with the builder's quality. If you want a little bit better quality lock, then go with the original Schlage. If you have any other questions or comments about the two styles of locks that I talked about in this video, as always, leave them in the comments section. I will try my best to answer them. Hopefully this video lets you, the homeowner, make an informed decision on which grade and how much money to spend, basically, is what it boils down to. How much money to spend on the locks for your house. So thanks again for watching, guys. Y'all have a great one. Again, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section. I will try my best to answer them. We'll see you guys next video.